Hello all and welcome to The Big Story, where we discuss the hottest topics right in the heart of the newsroom. I'm Haryanto, coming to you live from the Straits Times. We are streaming on Facebook and on YouTube, so be sure to comment, like and share the video. While you are at it, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell button as well to be alerted of our videos. Now, I will be joined by my newsroom colleagues to talk about the stories that got you talking today. Well, it is another exciting day in Malaysia. Malaysia seeks to lower the voting age from 21 to 18, a move that will add 1.5 million voters to the electoral roll. Now, the amendment is likely to pass as both the ruling Pakatan Harapan coalition and opposition parties Umno and Parti Islam SeMalaysia look to set to gain from it. Now, larger urban youth electorate is seen as more likely to support PH, while race-based parties Umno and PAS could benefit if these largely Malay young voters turn increasingly right-wing. Now, to tell us more, I have Assistant Foreign Editor Lim Ai Leen. Welcome, Ai Leen.
Thank you.
Now, if this does pass, it will mark the first bill to receive multi-partisan support since PH came to power in May last year. But the opposition parties are not agreeing without conditions of their own. More on that, Ai Leen.
Yeah, well, the general consensus, the general feel of it is that they do agree in principle, but they are just looking to extract more concessions from Pakatan Harapan with regards to other issues that may come up in Parliament later on. So what they're asking for is they're asking for automatic registration of voters.
Right.
Currently, there are 15 million voters, registered voters in Malaysia. There are 3.8 million voters who are eligible to vote who are not registered because they have not done so themselves. There's no automatic system for doing this. So they're asking for automatic registration. They're also asking that the minimum age for candidates who run for election to also similarly be lowered from 21 to 18 years.
And you see, it's funny, right, Ai Leen, because as with other things, of course, you know, the parties cannot agree on, but it seems that for this one, they're all going like, yeah, let's agree on this. Now, how can the different parties benefit from this change?
Yes, I think traditionally the feeling has been that if you are the government of the day and you lower the voting age, then you stand a chance of risking the next election. Right? Because you then only have however many, so Pakatan will only have another 4 years to cater to this younger demographic as it is. But still, it's 21 to 18, you know, you have 21-year-olds that you still have to cater to today. So regardless which way I think the young voters decide to go, it's actually a good thing for the country as a whole. You have young people being active, being empowered to have a say in how their future is going to look like, in how the country is managed. So as far as Pakatan Harapan is concerned, if you get more young voters in the urban areas, they stand to gain. That's their usual support base. Also, if you have voters who are looking more for reform, they are looking for things like freedom of expression, they're looking for equal rights, they're worried about climate change. Pakatan Harapan then is the reformist party that you would expect them to move towards. Having said that, Umno and PAS, these are very much race-based parties. They have been talking a lot about Malay rights, Malay privileges. If you are an 18-year-old young Malay voter, you would be worried about what all young people around the world are worried about, which is your future. Will I have a job? Will artificial intelligence take over everything? So they might pivot more towards Umno and PAS because Umno and PAS have always said, we will protect Malay rights, we will protect Malay privileges, we will make sure that you are fine.
The Bumiputra laws,
the Bumiputra, right? we have a positive discrimination policy or an affirmative action policy. So it could go either way. And so both sides look at this proposal and they say, well, we both stand to gain
from it. Now, Youth and Sports Minister Syed Saddiq Abdul Rahman himself, only 26 years old, said the move may be risky for PH. what could possibly backfire then? Because we've talked about, they can benefit and all that. But then it seems that Minister's saying that, while it looks good and all that, it could possibly backfire. How so?
Okay, at the risk of sounding like an old fogey myself, young people are unpredictable.
Yeah.
Right? So what we have to bear in mind is before the elections last year, there was actually an Undi Rosak campaign.
What's that?
Yeah. So Undi Rosak basically means spoil your vote. And this was a campaign largely run by relatively younger voters, disillusioned with the way things had turned out because they were asked to choose between an allegedly reformist party that, yes, they have the youngest MP in Parliament, who's only 23 years old. They have the youngest minister in Parliament, which is Syed Saddiq, who's only 26. But at the same time, it's a reformist party, but that is led by the oldest MP in Parliament, and that is Prime Minister Mahathir, who himself is a member of the old guard from Umno. So you're asking us to choose between a so-called reformist party, but it's led by someone who is from the other party that you're asking us not to vote for. So there was this whole Undi Rosak campaign. The other point which I raised just now is that most of the additional voters that will come on board, this 1.5 million, will largely come from the Malay community. And Pakatan Harapan does not have as strong a hold on the votes in that community as UMNO and PAS. And UMNO and PAS are now working together to consolidate that Malay vote. So those are the two risk factors that Pakatan will have to contend with.
Yeah, eventually. Now, again, of course, this younger voting age, it's not new. Other countries have done it as well. So how does this younger voting age compare with the rest of the world?
So in Singapore, it's still, as you know, 21 years old. In most countries, it's 18 years old. But countries like Austria, Brazil, and Malta have lowered the age even more. So their minimum voting age is 16 years old. Of course, there have been some criticism on that part. At 16 years old, what do you know? Right? But on the other end of the spectrum, you have the United Arab Emirates, where the minimum age is 25, which is
to vote.
Very, very old. Yes. So, well, in the words of one of the politicians, one of the Malaysian politicians, is that if you are old enough to get married, why not vote?
Exactly. And if in Singapore, if 18 years old, you can go to NS, same as well, right?
I'll leave that to you. I don't comment on that.
Putting Ai Leen on the spot right there. Now, thank you so much, Ai Leen, for coming on to the big story. To shed light on this issue right here. Of course, this whole bill and then the talks of it are still in its nascent stages. Pun intended right there, of course.
Yes. So it will be tabled for debate on July 16th. So they may get a vote by the 17th.
Right. Okay, so there you have it. Of course, we are going to be covering it. We're going to give the updates. So for more updates on this bill, be sure to follow closely on our website. That is www.straitstimes.com. Once again, thank you, Ai Leen, for coming on to TBS today.